still saying it's just, I'm live. Hello, Hills Crisp here. So I wanted to do this video about alignment, right? Because we hear the word a lot, but for some of you, maybe you don't really know what it means, or maybe it means different things to different people. And how do you actually do it? How do you actually live in alignment and create a business in alignment? I'm Hills Crisp, the business alchemist, and I'm a strategic business and marketing mentor and up-level coach. And so I did a couple of keynote talks last week. It was the same talk about creating your aligned vision, right, which people loved. And I talked quite a lot about alignment. So I wanted to just share that part with you today. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what does it mean to be in alignment and how do you actually do it. So there's sort of two parts to living in alignment. There's the first one is really knowing yourself, like knowing your truth, right? So having that really deep self-awareness that comes from a deeper place than just your often very fear-driven and irrational mind, right? So you need to know who you are, what you truly desire, right? So what you desire that's not from ego or fear or unhealed trauma, which we call the conditioned self, but from wholeness and integration, right? This is like real authenticity. So from your authentic self, because most people are operating from the former, the conditioned self. But when you do the work of self-discovery and healing, you move much more towards the latter. But I still think it's often a mixture, even for pretty self-aware people. It's still a mixture, a moment by moment mixture of coming from your conditioned self and then noticing and like, oh yeah, and then coming from your authentic self, right? And it takes quite a lot of conscious awareness at first before that becomes more natural. So the first thing is really knowing yourself, knowing your truth. And the second thing is living your truth, right? Actually taking that awareness and putting it into action so that you are creating what you want and what will genuinely feel good and fulfilling to you. Now, this is work that I did years ago when I trained in Heart IQ as a group facilitator, and I ran courses on this. I think it was called, how to live your heart's truth. So yeah, this kind of comes from this work. So there's 4 aspects that I've identified to this journey of knowing and living your truth, being in alignment, right? Because it is a journey, it's a process. It isn't a one thing and done, right? So the first thing is you really need to do the healing work. You need to face any trauma that you've got, any of your stuff. You need to integrate shadows, shift limiting beliefs, like really awaken to the truth of you. Now, this requires embodiment so that you're not just thinking, right? Because your mind has got its own agenda, right? It wants to focus on finding solutions and following what's logical and linear thinking and all of that. And embodiment is about really connecting to your body, to your senses, your sensations, to your feelings, your emotions, really connecting to your heart and soul, because there is a lot of wisdom and deeper knowing down there in your body, right? So that's the first step. The second step, they're not really necessarily in order, but a second one is about really following what lights you up, right? What sparks joy, what you're passionate about, what inspires you, what feels purposeful, what brings fulfillment, because this is very, very individual. But that is a really key thing to join, to follow. Third thing is courage. Like all of this takes courage. It takes huge amounts of courage to look at the sludge inside, right? To really face your trauma and heal your trauma, to undo old patterns, right? To shift beliefs, to challenge your thoughts and get intimate with your inner critic. I've been on a massive healing and personal transformation journey for 14, 15 years, like really deep. I'm still uncovering old patterns and old beliefs that I need to shift, right? It can be painful. It's certainly uncomfortable. It can be really scary. and it can take years, decades, it's kind of a lifetime commitment, right? And it takes courage to do all of that and to not just run away and hide and go back to, conditioned self. It takes courage to follow the nudges, right? That little voice, those intuitive nudges, even when there's fear, even when you have a setback, even when something doesn't feel logical, because things that are aligned often don't feel logical because they're coming from the heart and soul. But yeah, even if you have a wobble, you fall back into your conditioned self, you notice that you've done something from ego, whatever, it's forgiveness and it's courage all the way to really do that. And it's a moment by moment practice of tuning in and responding to what's real, to noticing, to having that awareness, right? To being connected. Now, when it comes to creating an aligned business, it's the same, right? It's about knowing yourself, about knowing what works for you and knowing what you genuinely want to create. And part of that is really recognizing and owning like what you're amazing at, what your gifts are, and what you are truly here to do, right? And actually creating that, showing up for yourself every day and doing the inner work. Now, how do you know if something is aligned or not? Because I'm sure that as a business owner, you get a lot of different ideas and you've got a lot of information coming in externally telling you what you should be doing in your business, right? There's all those business coaches. I'm kind of one of them, but how I like to work is to help you find your truth, what is aligned for you. Because if it's not aligned, it's probably not going to work, or it's going to be really hard, or you're just going to come up against some resistance or something. Right. So now I think alignment is a feeling in the body or in your energy system, if you're tuned into that, and it's going to be different for everyone. Right. So for me, I feel it in my hara, my second chakra, my power center, whatever you want to call that. It feels grounded. It feels calm. Even when there's excitement, which can feel a bit more bubbly, it feels really calm and grounded. Right. And knowing what's not in alignment can be useful as well, right? It's a warning sign that something that needs to change, something's not in alignment. So I invite you to be really curious about how it feels for you when you're in alignment and when you're out of alignment, right? Because this is going to be the most powerful guidance tool that you have that will keep you on track, right? And so you won't get pulled into signing up for another course or whatever that you don't need, right? It will keep you on track. So I hope that has been useful. I'm going to pop the link below to a wait list. I'm soon going to be launching a group, kind of like a high level mistress mind. It's going to be all focused on up leveling your inner world and your business to really double your impact and income and all of that. There's a wait list, so you'll be the first to hear about it and get any special offer that I launch with. So I will pop that below. Do let me know if you've got any questions on how this landed for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.